Welcome back, everybody. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the Shakedown Breakdown break action 105B buck rifle. It has a rounded forestock, and I've even tucked in a 12 gauge shot shell under there for the real choke 12 gauge look. The shot shell just happens to be an old vintage Winchester number 12 new rifle. It's a great little shooter for the smaller frame person. Its size is a lot similar to the stock OEM 105B buck. The lever attaches to the rear of the gun stock via two centered screws. And for a plastic lever, it holds in place really well. It also carries almost 13 inches of pull for the rear gun stock to the trigger. A couple of other things to note are that for the muzzle end, it's only a half-inch longer than the standard 105B buck. And I've also incorporated a slightly longer steel shot tube along with it too. I've nipped the original receiver. I've nipped away the tail end, the earpieces, and I've re-drilled them to accept the two screws on each side of the gun stock. The gun stocks are both North American white pine, and they're match stained in Varathane's 258 black cherry. And I gotta say, the grain came out really well on it. Looks quite pleasant. I finished it off in a hard coat of shellac. It's easy to maintain, pretty durable stuff. For all my builds, I really like to still incorporate the original shot tip. So what I've done is I've thickened the inner wall by putting a thinner piece of smaller diameter tubing inside and routing it out for the shot tip. Whenever I have it set up to its screw held down, it's screw anchored, and whenever you want to refill it, all you gotta do is take the screw out of the top and slide this off the tip, and you're left with a fill point. For filling it back up, just take your cap, slide it back on like so, press it into place. And your screw takes care of the rest. So I managed to leave my chronograph back at the house, so I can't give you a visual on that, but I'll tell you that it's staying in the ballpark in the 290s. I really ain't got much of a problem knocking this can around either. Alright everybody, time out. Well, I ran out of BBs. I got lost up in the bluff rocks, wandering around metal detecting. Wanted to take a break from the video. A couple days has went by. I got bored with the gun. I told y'all it was shooting in the 290s on the chronograph. I wanted to get it better. So this is what I did. And whenever this gun goes up for sale, this is what you're going to get. For this build, I'm incorporating a prototype Mean Streak air tube, and I've used my rotary tool on it, and I've offset the way that the air will flow into it. And now when the air flows into it, hopefully it can gain like a swirl pattern going through the air tube before it contacts the BB. When it's installed on the main power plant, I put the clean sweep felt washer that I make on there. I've got the original spring. I wanted to keep that on there for my own purpose to use this. It's a copper tube that I'd cut to length with the oil drain plug crush washer. It fit the bill. Fits it pretty tight too. I've seen this mod in a few places, and I said, well, I think I'll just give it a shot. And just for shits and giggles, I'm going to throw in a carbon fiber shot tube. With the shot tube installed, I'd like to give a formal shout out to Terry C. over at the High Road. He actually helped guide me in this direction on the carbon fiber shot tube. He was playing with them long before I showed up. I've been on the fence about it for a while just because, you know, I couldn't find any info out. Well, reading what he had posted, you know, I thought, you know what, I'm going to give it a shot. So thanks a lot, Terry. So to accompany the X-Quartet chronograph, I've whipped up a little box. It's a Pop-Tart box. And I needed a catch can to keep stupid things like this from happening. Looking at the inside of it, it's got to travel through 2 pieces of rubber material before it hits the third one, and then behind the third one I have a little metal tin top that I've hot glued in there, and I've given it a fake wood vinyl wrap. With the air colder and the wind shiftier than our X's, I really didn't want to venture out any farther than the old family outhouse. I filled these cans up last night with some water, and overnight they froze solid. So whenever I'm shooting them, they're not really knocking over the way I'd like to for the camera. So this is just a little glimpse of, you know, what the shots look like up against the can. I'd say they're about a quarter full of water. Well, I guess that about sums it up on the Shakedown Breakdown rifle, y'all. Thanks for having me. If you like this video or all my past ones, you know, just like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks, y'all.